I lost my mom at 10. After 8 years with a cold stepmom, I found out she's my birth mom and the man I called dad isn't my real father. Okay, here we go. Imagine I'm telling you this story over coffee, just letting it all spill out. I swear sometimes I think my life is a sitcom, a really bad one. I mean, losing my mom when I was only 10, that's already a heavy plot point, right? And then throw in the stepmom who's basically the antagonist in my personal story arc. It's all just too much. Let me give you some background. Mom passed away when I was 10. Cancer, the classic sob story starter. It still hurts even 8 years later. It's like a hole in my life that nothing can fill. Dad was a mess, obviously. He's a good guy, just not cut out to be a single parent, especially to a grieving kid. Enter Carol, my stepmom. She came into the picture a couple of years after mom died. She's nice enough, I guess, civil. We can be in the same room without clawing each other's eyes out, which I guess is progress. But close? Absolutely not. We're about as close as two strangers sharing a bus seat. She's just weird. Like she's trying to compete with my mom. It's the strangest thing. It's not like my mom is even here. It's not like she can come back and defend her title of mom. But Carol acts like it's a competition anyway. She gets all snippy when I talk about mom or when I wear anything that belonged to her. The worst is my necklace. It's an old thing, just a simple silver chain with a little heart pendant. But it was mom's. She gave it to me right before she passed. It's the only thing I have that feels like a real tangible connection to her. So yeah, I wear it basically every day. It's like a little piece of her is always with me. Carol hates it. She'll make little comments like, "Are you still wearing that old thing? Or don't you think it's time you got something a little more modern?" It's like she wants me to take it off, to hide it away, to pretend my mom never existed. And that's what gets me. It's not just about the necklace. It's about the whole thing. It's about her trying to erase my mom, to rewrite my history. And I can't stand it. So a few nights ago we were out for dinner. It was the whole crew. Dad, Carol, me, and Carol's parents. Her mom as well. She's a piece of work. Picture the stereotypical overbearing mother-in-law and you're pretty close. She's always got something to say, some opinion to offer, some way to make me feel like I'm not good enough. Anyway, we were sitting around the table making small talk when Carol's mom noticed my necklace. "Oh, that's a pretty necklace," she said, all sugary sweet. "Where did you get it?" I sighed inwardly. "Here we go." "It was my mom's," I said, trying to keep my tone neutral. "She gave it to me before she passed on. I wear it every day." And then Carol just lost it. "Well, technically I'm your mom now," she said, cutting in with this saccharine smile. "I've done more mothering in the last 8 years than she did in 10. I swear the whole table went silent. You could have heard a pin drop. Even Carol's mom looked shocked, and that woman has seen and said it all. My dad just stared at his plate like he was trying to become invisible. I don't know what came over me. Maybe it was the years of simmering resentment finally boiling over. Maybe it was the look on Carol's face, that smug, self-satisfied look that just made me want to scream. Maybe it was the fact that she said it in front of her parents like she was trying to score points with them. Whatever it was, I snapped. I just laughed, this short, sharp, humorless laugh. "If you think being a mom is about trying to erase the actual one," I said, my voice dripping with sarcasm, "then yeah, you've been amazing." Her face. Oh man, I wish I had a picture. It was like she'd been slapped. Her mom gasped a loud, dramatic gasp that could have shattered glass. My dad just kept staring at his plate like he was hoping the earth would swallow him whole. He cleared his throat. "That wasn't appropriate. You need to apologize." But I didn't. I said I was tired of her acting like my mom never existed, and I wasn't going to play along anymore. I was finished. The rest of the dinner was a disaster. Nobody said a word. Carol just glared at me, her face a mask of fury. Her parents looked like they wanted to crawl under the table and die. My dad just kept sighing and shaking his head. As soon as we got home, Dad laid into me. He said I was disrespectful, that I had humiliated Carol in front of her family, that I needed to apologize. He said I need to be the bigger person because she's just trying to connect. Connect? Seriously? To me that didn't feel like connection. That felt like erasure. It felt like she was trying to replace my mom, to take her place in my life, to pretend she was the only one who ever mattered. I refused to apologize. I said I meant every word. I said I was tired of her trying to rewrite my history. Now my stepmom is barely speaking to me. She gives me the silent treatment, which honestly is kind of a relief. It's a lot more peaceful around here when she's not talking, but my dad, he's been on my case constantly. He keeps telling me I need to apologize, that I'm hurting Carol's feelings, that I'm making things difficult for him. He acts like I'm the one who started this whole thing, like I'm the one who's being unreasonable. I almost gave in, to be honest. I almost apologized just to shut him up. But then I thought about my mom, about her memory, about how much it means to me to keep her alive in my heart. And I knew I couldn't do it. I couldn't apologize for defending her. But here's the thing, lately there's been a few things that have been happening that made me question more and more who I was living with. First, there's the little things. My mom's favorite recipes mysteriously disappeared from the recipe box I had stored in the attic. All of them. I'd know my mom's cooking anywhere, and those recipes were all that was left of her cooking, but gone. Then there are the pictures. I found that a lot of the pictures of mom and dad were no longer on display. If they were, Carol would pop up to replace them. It's like mom never existed in the first place. But that brings me to the biggest problem. My mom's death. It was always a sensitive topic, and I never pressed my dad for details because he gets sad. But it felt like time to ask a question, so I did. Dad, I said to him. What exactly happened to mom? I want to know the details. I deserve to know. I'm an adult now. I've told you before. She had cancer and she eventually succumbed to it. It was tragic. End of story. He told me. No, tell me more. I pleaded. When was she diagnosed? What kind of cancer did she go to the hospital? My dad suddenly clamped up. He acted very weird. Why do you need to know? It was a long time ago. She got diagnosed a while before you were born, went to the hospital and got treatment. Before I was born. But mom didn't get sick till I was 10. Did she have it a second time? I pressed on. My dad's face went pale. She didn't get cancer a second time. He told me. But she was sick for years, right? In and out of treatment, right? I asked again. That's when the bombshell dropped. Carol has cancer. Your mom died in a car crash. He told me. My face went white as a ghost. I just blanked out. But if my mom died in a car crash, then there was a huge hole that didn't add up. And it's right when I'm about to confront Carol that something weirder happens. I'm rummaging through one of the cabinets to get some pots and pans when a box falls out. I pick it up and realize that this is my mom's box of belongings. All the mementos and keepsakes that were hidden in here. I open it up and immediately start to tear up. This is one of the last memories I have of my mother. I remember seeing her make this and give it to me. That's when I look down and see something more. There are pictures and letters in there that weren't there before. They were clearly from Carol. I pick them up and read them. And what I read makes me want to vomit. The letters were all addressed to my dad, but they were all about mom. And what they said was absolutely disgusting. Carol had been having an affair with my dad when mom was alive. And she was pregnant. The pictures were of Carol and my dad laughing and smiling. And in one of them Carol was holding a baby. It couldn't be. Could it? I did the math in my head. Carol came into the picture a couple of years after mom passed away. But if she had a baby when mom was still alive. That's when it hit me. Carol isn't just my stepmom. She's my half-sister. I felt like I was going to pass out. Everything suddenly made sense. The weird vibe, the competition with my mom, the snippy comments, the erasure. It all pointed to one thing. Carol isn't just trying to replace my mom. She's trying to erase her so she can take her place as my dad's number one. But why? What would motivate someone to do something so cruel? That's when I looked down and saw something else in the box. A letter. It was addressed to me. I picked it up and read it. And what I read made my blood run cold. The letter was from my mom. It was written a few weeks before she died. And it revealed a secret that would change everything. My darling name, the letter began. If you're reading this, it means I'm gone. And there's something I need to tell you before I go. Something that I've been keeping from you for a long time. Your father, he's not your biological father. I blinked. I read the sentence again. And again. It couldn't be true, it just couldn't be. I know this is a lot to take in, the letter continued. But it's the truth. Your father, the man you've known your whole life, isn't your real dad. Your real dad is Carol's father. I gasped. It all made sense now. The weird connection I felt to Carol's parents, the way her mom seemed to favor me over Carol. It was all because they knew the truth. They knew that I was their granddaughter. But why didn't my mom ever tell me? I never told you because I was afraid, the letter explained. I was afraid of what would happen if you found out. I was afraid of losing you. I was afraid of hurting your father. He loves you so much and I didn't want to take that away from him. But now that I'm gone I can't keep this secret any longer. You deserve to know the truth. You deserve to know who you really are. I love you more than anything in the world. And I hope that one day you'll be able to forgive me for keeping this from you. I burst into tears. I couldn't believe it. My whole life had been a lie. The man I thought was my father wasn't my father at all. And my stepmom was actually my half-sister and her father was my real dad. It was too much to take in. My head was spinning. My heart was breaking. That's when Carol walked into the room. She took one look at my face and knew something was wrong. "What's going on?" she asked, her voice laced with concern. I didn't say anything. I just held up the letter. Carol took it and read it. And as she read, her face drained of all color. "How did you find this?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "It was in the box," I said, my voice trembling. "The box with all my mom's stuff. I found it. It all makes sense now. You were jealous. You were pregnant with me. And then there's Mom. What did you do?" I just couldn't contain my anger. I didn't mean for any of this to happen," she said, her voice cracking. "What do you mean you didn't mean for any of this to happen?" I screamed. "You had an affair with my dad while my mom was alive. You got pregnant with me. And then you came into my life and tried to erase her. How could you do that? Did you kill my mom?" "It wasn't like that," she protested. I started to walk out. "I'm done, I'm gone." "Wait, don't go, don't you want to hear my side?" she said and grabbed my arm. I twisted it around and kicked her in the stomach. I pushed her as hard as I could and walked out the door. I have no idea where I'm going, what I'm doing, but I can never go back.